Hello, welcome to our second module of Health and Wellness of the Self and Society. In the last module, we talked about the basic concepts of health, wellness, and the quality of life. In this session, we are going to explore health and wellness from both individual and social perspectives. Also, we will identify the importance and impact of health and wellness across the lifespan.
Let's begin to understand health and wellness from the individual perspective. At a personal level, well-being includes both objective and subjective dimensions. The objective aspect of well-being is the terms defining material well-being and the quality of material life. It is formed and influenced by the quality of the material life, such as the level and stability of income, the conditions of residence, the opportunity of having education, safety, and security. Different from the objective well-being, subjective well-being focuses more on the feelings toward three aspects. Firstly, intrapersonal. It is within oneself, a sense of being of self-worth. And then interpersonal. That is more about you and the environment or others, such as a sense of belonging, connectedness, or being loved. And finally, looking forward, which is a sense of becoming or a sense of hope for the future. Then, what are the predictors of our subjective well-being and how we can improve our subjective well-being according to those factors? Jung and Chow have identified 8 independent variables and 1 interactive variable to be the predictors of subjective well-being. These include marital status, self-esteem, internal locus of control, help-seeking attitude, frequency of financial, emotional, and health problems, and age with many chronic illnesses. The first 4 predictors, marital status, self-esteem, internal locus of control, help-seeking attitude, have a positive correlation with subjective well-being. Let's take marriage as an example. Those who are married predict better subjective well-being. The remaining predictors, that is, frequency of financial, emotional, and health problems, and age with many chronic illnesses, are negatively correlated with subjective well-being. Is there any age difference in subjective well-being? Based on Jung and Chow's study, there is probably no significant age difference, relatively constant and indeed gradually increased in subjective well-being for those who do not have any chronic illnesses. However, subjective well-being declines more rapidly with the increase of age and number of chronic illnesses, especially when people have 5 or more diseases. It also warns us to take care of our health condition and to achieve better subjective well-being. There is another definition of subjective well-being raised by Diner. It has 3 parts: life satisfaction, presence of positive effect, and the relative absence of negative effect. Life satisfaction is a cognitive judgment to see how satisfied a person is with his or one's life. It can be examined in different life domains, such as employment status, finance, interpersonal relationships, hobbies, so on and so forth. The picture besides provides information on what specific aspects of life that contribute to overall satisfaction. In Diner's study, most participants are somewhat satisfied with their life. How about the situation in Hong Kong? Referring to a research conducted by Chinese University of Hong Kong in 2018, we know that general life satisfaction is increasing in the whole year of 2017. However, the quality of life index is decreasing. Please check the link that is attached. See what is better and what is worse in Hong Kong, and share your findings with your classmates. Emotion is another component when people evaluating subjective well-being. It is measured by the frequency and intensity of the pleasant or unpleasant emotions. There is positive and negative effect schedule for measuring the emotional components. Some researchers applied psychometric scale that consists of several words, describing different feelings and emotions. The participants also indicate how they feel right now or over the past few weeks, referring to the words the researchers provide, such as happy, angry, and the like. Through the correlational study, Mooc and Diner claimed that the frequency of emotions is more important than their intensity when evaluating the subjective well-being. However, this measurement still raises some discussion. For example, one considers emotional components as unidimensional, which means that the presence of positive emotion indicates the absence of negative emotion and vice versa. Other people think emotions are bidimensional. Positive and negative emotions are two separate dimensions with different causes and effects. People could experience both positive and negative emotions at the same time. Which view is more reasonable based on your personal experience? After analyzing health and wellness as a personal issue, we move on to another perspective in understanding health and wellness. Is health and wellness a personal concern or a social issue? Before that, I am going to introduce you to the ecological system theory from Brenner. This theory offers us a framework to think about the question, through which community psychologists examine individuals' relationships within communities and the wider society. There are 4 interrelated types of environmental systems in Brenner's classic rendition of ecological systems theory, namely the micro, meso, exo, and macro systems. These levels range from smaller proximal settings in which individuals directly interact to larger distal parameters that indirectly influence development. The various levels within ecological systems theory are often presented graphically as a series of 4 systems nested around a focal individual, like a set of concentric circles as the graph shows, or a collection of Russian dolls. Individuals typically find themselves entangled in various ecosystems, different layers from the most intimate and then to the most comprehensive system, which includes society and culture. Each of these ecological systems inevitably interacts with and influences each other in all aspects of their lives. Microsystem is the closest and most direct layer, including family, school, and peers. Mesosystem involves the processes that occur between the multiple microsystems in which individuals embed. Many microsystems are interconnected. The exosystem is the next outermost level. It includes the microsystems in which individuals are involved but not directly embedded. It means linked between a social setting. The outermost system is the macrosystem, which is defined as the set of overarching beliefs, values, and norms as reflected in the cultural, religious, and socio-economic organization of society. Finally, the macrosystem influences development within and among all other systems, and serves as a filter or lens through which an individual interprets future experiences. Finally, the chronosystem looks at the transitions over the life course. It means social historical circumstances. After analyzing health and wellness as a personal issue, we move on another point of view. Next, we may think health and wellness is a social responsibility. A term called public health is the art and science of preventing disease, prolonging life, and promoting health through the organized efforts of society. The overall vision is to encourage more excellent health and well-being sustainably, the complete strengthening integrated public health services, and reducing inequalities. In other words, the government should take the responsibility to develop a preventive and sustainable environment policies for the whole population. It covers different works, disease prevention, health promotion, and interventions based on the public health model. It is different from the medical model, which just focuses primarily on curative medicine. Public health can be understood as a critical aspect of the more comprehensive health system and can play an essential role in improving the effectiveness and efficiency of health system delivery. Public health as a global challenge. Have we achieved optimal public health around the world? Are there any differences between developed and developing countries? WHO Regional Office for Europe found 6 main challenges. Economic and financial issues are related to the fundamental questions: how to support the running of the systems. Financing in the health sector is getting more and more complicated now, and the lack of assistance from public funding and strategies of risk pooling make the public more vulnerable to catastrophic health expenditure. The widening inequalities among the rich and the poor, among developed and developing areas, barrier the optimal public health. Apart from these two, the remaining challenges are also threatening the public's health. These may provide more directions for governments around the world to face together and cooperate. Nowadays, when talking about public health, people attach increasing attention to the environment. For example, how to decrease the pollution in their daily life and how to cut down their waste to protect the earth. For the whole population, environment and public health are also interconnected to each other. Environmental health is a component of public health systems, concerned with all aspects of the natural and built environment affecting human health. More specifically, the environmental pollution, such as air, water, and soil, may degrade the whole population's quality of life or push them into disaster with infection, chronic illness, and bodily impairment. That's the reason why government and some organizations now appeal to environmental sustainability. It is not only consuming less, but also making the full cycle of production, use, and disposal more sustainable. This action will help the human beings live in a better place and get rid of the harm from pollution and overwaste. Besides, policy plays an essential role in public health issue. Health policy refers to the decisions, plans, and actions that are undertaken to achieve specific healthcare goals within society. It helps create the conditions that ensure good health for the entire population. It involves several processes, such as identifying the health problems, its determinants and impacts, assessing the risks and benefits, and establishing the intervention. It also needs different stakeholders' involvement: the government, the community, the citizens, and even global cooperations. As good health policies, it should incorporate various stakeholders, needs and abilities, national public health partnership, and the like. What are the health policies in Hong Kong? The public health policies have already integrated into the different areas of citizens' daily life. It positively makes efforts to improve the living environment for the citizens. Hong Kong government continues contributing to environmental sustainability, like improving air quality and enhancing waste management and urban forestry. Besides, the agenda includes their wills to build a caring, inclusive society and improve people's livelihood. The government hopes to enhance the upward mobility and help low-income families as poverty alleviation, also support the disadvantaged and care for the young. As we know, aging is one of the serious concerns in society. Thus, the government is creating an age-friendly community and providing higher quality elderly care to the public. The graph only shows 10 areas related to public health. Please refer to the link attached for further information and see how Hong Kong government devotes to improving the health and wellness. Positive aging. I believe that you have already known some theories and information about personal health and public health. Let's take aging as an example to further discuss on current challenges our society is facing and what does health and wellness mean to the older adults themselves, to their family, or even to the whole society. In the Western study, they see the successful aging can be measured by 4 facets of health, both physical health and psychological health, subjective health, and objective health. There are 6 different dimensions of health: absence of objective physical disability, subjective physical health, length of active life, objective mental health, objective social support, and subjective life satisfaction. We can estimate that in the Western world, positive aging still confines to the older adults themselves. Even the missions of positive aging are to add more years to life. Understanding aging from a positive view, stemming out from a postmodern perspective, aims to deconstruct the social labels that the elderly are burdened and suffering from impairment and chronic illness. This recent postmodern constructions of aging emphasize the cultural interaction between the complexity of the aging body and the social context in shaping and reconstructing the meaning of aging from the negative symptoms of aging to aging well. World Health Organization launches an active aging policy framework, viewing aging as a positive experience of continued growth and participation in family, community, and societal activities, regardless of physical and cognitive decline. It emphasizes on the older adults' autonomy and shows respect to their choices. And this framework appeals for the cooperation with family, community, and society, the micro, meso, and macro systems to enhance the older adults' quality of life. How about the situation in Hong Kong? What is the positive aging in Hong Kong? Positive aging increasingly becomes a relevant theme for public policy concerning older people's welfare. Advocacy for the policy hopes to extend people's work life, education, both their careers and leisure, social and community participation, and adding life to their years rather than adding years to life. This advocacy takes the assumption for older people are capable and they can retain their role in the community. The policy tact would improve older people's quality of life in substantial ways. Positive aging can be distinguishable from other alternative concepts, such as productive aging and successful or healthy aging. It is more embracing, integrating concerns for both the individual and society and their interaction. It emphasizes the older individual's contribution to society and individuals' well-being and health. Positive aging maintains that older people have abundant positive resources to facilitate their positive contribution to self and society. Positive aging comprises three components: positive resources, positive contributions to the self and society. What does positive resources mean here? Positive resources include experiences, beliefs, knowledge, wisdom, skills, and potential for development. Furthermore, positive aging involves the older adults making use of these resources to contribute to self and society. Resources are definitely important conditions for contribution and receiving empowerment. Positive resources include autonomy, self-reliance, knowledge, and ability of self-care, ability to work altruism, and life philosophy. Chung and his colleagues quotes from the interviews, and their participants mentioned the freedom of doing what they wanted and taking care of themselves, so and so forth. Among those positive resources, autonomy encourages them to do and get what the individual wants and bolster their independence, interest, and self-determination for quality care. Self-reliance emerges from the older adult's desire and ability to prevent being the burden of society. They are willing to take care of themselves. Clearly, it is one important goal in geriatric care, and self-care is also an integral component of wellness. Provided with the prevalence of self-care ability, professional services can turn to those really in need and contribute to the society by bettering the use of public resources. At the same time, although experiencing the physical and cognitive decline, the elderly still hope to work. It undeniably enables the older person's working, which is usually salutary for sustaining the individual's quality of life. The working help convey the sense of meaning to the individual. Furthermore, it would contribute to the society by maintaining social order, reducing prejudice and discrimination against older people in society. It thus indirectly contributes to intergenerational harmony in society. Altruism is the older individual believes that it is better to help others and be helped. It is important to apply what is learned to reciprocate benefits obtained from society. It enhances positive social relationships with others and culture and can contribute to the community by maintaining order and solidarity. Finally, we talk about life philosophy, purpose in life, or spirituality. It is found in an older person who valued applying what is learned and devalued pursuit of fame and profit. It represents an essential quest of human beings in their lives. Having the stock of life philosophy would equip the older individual with a better orientation to life. Let's move on to the next component, positive contribution to self. It focuses on the self-enhancement and enrichment in old age. Taking part in various types of activities, such as registering in social and community services centers to amuse themselves and socialize. Provision of entertainment likely leads to their satisfaction to the events, even to their life. Older adults with more social interaction would have a higher self-esteem and higher quality of life in general. Stress management is a contribution to self revealed in the older person's keeping calm and being mindful in the face of stress. It involves intellectual or cognitive processes to counter the stress and negative feeling. Learning, referring to the contribution to the self involving and to older adults' willingness to learn certain new things or develop further from present knowledge. It acts as a key to empower, leading to personal assertiveness, decision-making, and collective significance. The cross-generation exchange illustrates the configurative culture. Youth can learn the life wisdom from their elders, and the teens can also provide the new and latest information to their elders, especially the IT skills in this era. Experiencing support was a contribution to the self, stemming from the older person's comments about experiencing filial piety with offspring. It partly originates from an individual's activities and perception, although other people's behavior also play a part. It requires the younger to pay attention to the supporting behavior and atmosphere of the older. This engagement was passing the career to offspring. It may contribute to the quality of life, notably health and life satisfaction, by reducing the number of stressful obligations. They have to adjust to stress resulted from retirement, so their commitment to disengagement would ease the retirement process and reduce its stress. Lastly, the study inspires us 3 ways in which the elderly continue contributing themselves to society. In an aging society like Hong Kong, most people retire in their 60s, and even a large percentage of them would find another job after their retirement. It is common to see that Hong Kong older adults continuously work happily as security or taxi drivers, since they are considered as valuable to society. At the same time, the elderly is able and willing to take care of the younger generation. As we mentioned above, passing the knowledge and life wisdom. It is generativity. Voluntarism is doing volunteer work to contribute to society. For example, there is a group of elderly organizing home visits to those who are even older when some traditional Chinese festivals occur. They bring warmth and care to the whole community. To give you a more in-depth insight into positive aging in Hong Kong, we prepared a short documentary of 2 local seniors. In this video, they share their daily life after their retirement.
In this module, we introduce health and wellness at the personal level and the social level. We also talk about the ecological system theory, a framework illustrating how an individual is interrelated with the surrounding environment. Now, what do you think of health and wellness? Is it a personal issue or a social responsibility? Please share your comments in our discussion zone. In the next module, we are going to see what the critical life challenges are and how they affect health and wellness. See you!